You followed all the rules. You were in bed by 10. You turned off your phone. You slept 8 full hours. And you woke up feeling like you never slept at all. This is not normal aging. This is something specific. Something medical. Something that has a name. And tonight, we are going to tell you exactly what it is. Why do I sleep 8 hours and still wake up exhausted? The answer lies in something most people have never heard of. Sleep architecture. Your brain does not experience sleep as one continuous state. It moves through a precise sequence of stages every single night. Stage N1. Stage N2. Stage N3. Deep slow-wave sleep. Then REM. Each stage serves a specific and irreplaceable biological function. And when something disrupts that sequence, even without fully waking you, the restoration simply does not happen. The most damaging disruptor is obstructive sleep apnea. Each time your airway collapses during sleep, your brain registers a micro-arousal. You do not remember it. You do not know it happened. But your brain was pulled out of deep sleep, sometimes hundreds of times per night, and forced to restart its cycle from the beginning. Result is 8 hours in bed, and almost no time spent in the restorative stages your brain actually needed. Other disruptions include periodic limb movement disorder, a condition where involuntary leg movements repeatedly interrupt sleep without waking you fully. Chronic pain, depression and anxiety, which fundamentally alter sleep architecture even when sleep duration appears adequate. And then there are sedative hypnotic medications. This is critical. Many prescription and over-the-counter sleep medications do not produce natural sleep architecture. They alter it. They suppress slow-wave sleep. They compress REM sleep. They produce sedation, not restoration. 8 hours in bed. 0 hours of genuine restoration. In other words, the problem is almost never how long you sleep. The problem is what your brain is doing, or failing to do, while you sleep. Why do I wake up multiple times during the night? Repeated nighttime awakenings have a medical name: sleep maintenance insomnia. And they are almost always caused by something specific and identifiable. The most common cause, and the most underdiagnosed, is obstructive sleep apnea. Each airway collapse triggers a micro-arousal in the brain. A stress response, a brief interruption to the sleep cycle. Most of these go completely unnoticed. Other medical causes include gastroesophageal reflux disease, GERD, which causes brief awakenings so short that people attribute the disruption to anything else but its true cause. Chronic pain conditions, including arthritis and peripheral neuropathy, generate repeated arousals that people often mistake for simply being a light sleeper. Anxiety disorders alter the brain's arousal threshold, keeping the nervous system in a state of readiness that makes deep sleep physiologically difficult to maintain. Every repeated awakening has a cause, and most of those causes are both diagnosable and treatable. Why do I wake up at 3 a.m.? The first thing to understand is that 3 a.m. itself carries no special medical significance. The exact time is almost never the point. What matters is the biology occurring at that moment. Your night is structured around approximately 90-minute sleep cycles. The early cycles contain more deep slow-wave sleep. The later cycles, those occurring in the early morning hours, contain progressively more REM sleep and lighter sleep stages. This natural shift toward lighter sleep in the second half of the night means you are biologically more vulnerable to awakening during those hours. The HPA axis, your body's stress response system, begins activating in the early morning hours as your body prepares for waking. In people with chronic stress or anxiety, this activation occurs too early, too strongly, and pulls them from sleep prematurely. Alcohol consumed in the evening is metabolized over 3 to 5 hours. As blood alcohol levels fall, a rebound activation of the arousal system occurs, waking people who drank at 9 or 10 p.m. with striking consistency. Frequency and VLPO. Untreated sleep apnea generates arousals that cluster in REM-heavy early morning sleep with particular frequency. The question to ask is never why 3 a.m., the question is which biological mechanism is disrupting my early morning sleep. Why does sleep become lighter with age? This is where the science becomes extraordinary. Inside your hypothalamus, deep within your brain, there is a cluster of neurons called the VLPO, the ventrolateral preoptic nucleus. These neurons are the biological architects of sleep. They suppress arousal systems and allow sleep to occur. And after 50, they begin to degenerate as neurological change, simultaneously. The suprachiasmatic nucleus, your brain's internal clock, undergoes age-related changes. Its signals become less precise. The circadian rhythm that once reliably governed your sleep-wake cycle becomes less robust. Melatonin secretion from the pineal gland declines. Slow-wave sleep amplitude decreases measurably with each passing decade. Sleep spindle density in stage N2 diminishes. The result is a brain that generates shallower sleep, sleeps less efficiently, wakes more easily, and recovers less completely with each passing year. This is not something to accept quietly. It is something to actively counter, with knowledge, with behavior, and when necessary with medical intervention. Getting 8 hours of poor quality sleep is not the same as getting 8 hours with sufficient deep sleep. And the difference between those two experiences, measured in brainwave amplitude, is visible, dramatic, and medically significant. Why am I sleepy during the day? Let me say this clearly. Excessive daytime sleepiness is not a normal part of aging. If you are falling asleep during the day, struggling to stay awake in quiet situations, or finding that fatigue significantly limits your daily activities, this is not aging. It is a symptom. The most common causes include obstructive sleep apnea, chronic sleep deprivation, sedative medications including benzodiazepines and antihistamines, neurodegenerative disorders, thyroid disorders, diabetes, depression, and restless leg syndrome. And the consequences of ignoring daytime sleepiness are serious. It increases your risk of falls significantly. It increases your risk of motor vehicle accidents. It accelerates cognitive impairment and associated with increased cardiovascular events. If your daytime sleepiness is severe, persistent, or affecting your safety, please discuss it with your doctor without delay. Do not accept it as a normal part of getting older. It is not. Thyroid disorders, often undiagnosed in adults over 50, are one of the most commonly missed causes of both excessive daytime sleepiness and non-restorative sleep. If daytime fatigue persists despite adequate sleep duration, ask your doctor specifically about thyroid function testing. If this video helped you understand something important about your own sleep, please hit the like button. Subscribe to ClearMed Life every week for clear, honest health information designed specifically for people over 50 who take their health seriously. Better health, better aging, better life.